guys, give me 1 second. I am going to switch on the audio. Well, it's gonna take more than a second. All right, I'm done. Okay, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my YouTube channel / my podcast. I am the marketing nomad. My name is Prithvi Madhukar. In this Podeo, we are going to be talking about how to live a life with no regrets. So the way that I see this Podeo going is in 2 parts. The first will be how to look back with no regrets, and then the second part will be how to live a life with no regrets. So let's get into how to look back with no regrets. All right, inspiration behind this Podeo. So oftentimes when I'm speaking to people and the topic of the past comes up, one common feeling that I seem to get from them is regret. Yeah. Every single time I've spoken to someone about their past, there's always been a layer of regret as they are speaking of their past. And it really breaks my heart. It just truly breaks my heart, because I think that the life you have led up until now deserves only peace and love. I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. And even when I look back at my past, okay, the life that I've led up until now, it's not that there haven't been stumbles or mistakes made or things that today I would have done differently. It's not that. I do have all of those. But every single time I look at the past, every single time I look at the life that I've led up until now, I only have peace and love for it. Like, so much so that I'll probably cry talking about it, okay? And for me, that's where the self-love comes from. And I wish that for every single person. I really, truly believe that every single time you look back at the life that you've led, there only needs to be peace and love. And the reason why I feel so much peace and love for the life that I've led up until now is because I have a very different perspective when it comes to the life that you've led up until now and its relationship with regret. And I want to share that with you. I want to share that different perspective with you because, like I said, everyone deserves to feel peace and love when they look back at their past, right? So let's get into that, okay? So the basis of this entire thought process that I have is actually instinct. Every living being out there, all right? We are designed to protect ourselves. It's just how it is, you know? And then as an extension of that, when you think about it, every single decision that you have made up until now, all right, was a decision that you made based on what you perceived was the best for you at that point in time. It is impossible for each one of us to intentionally sabotage ourselves. It's impossible for me to intentionally sabotage myself because my mind is structured in a way that at every single point, it is constantly working to do what is best for me at that point in time. This is something that you need to first understand before we get deeper into this Podeo. I'm going to repeat that again because that is very, very powerful, and it is what is going to help you look at your past, your life led up until now with peace and love. I'm going to repeat that again. Every single decision that you have made up until now has always been a decision that you made based on what you thought was best for you at that point in time, given the resources that you had access to, the resources that you did not have access to, the information that you had at that point in time, the mental development that you were going through or had gone through at that point in time, the circumstances surrounding you at that point in time, the life experiences that you had had up until that point, the thought process that you were having at that point in time, the decision-making process that you had at that point in time, the belief system that you had at that point in time. All of it contributed to the decision that you made, and you made a decision that you thought was best for you at that point in time. Today, you are a different version of yourself. That's important to understand. But for that past version of yourself, that was a decision that you made based on what you perceived to be the best, because there is no way that you would have intentionally sabotaged yourself. All right? So when you think of your past self today, it's easy to say, oh, I wish I'd done that, or I wish, I took this action instead of that. It's very, very easy to say. It's actually very, very easy for you to comment based on the version of yourself that you are today. But if you pause, if you take a step back, and I say really take a step back because you have to look at the big picture aspect of it. Think about the circumstances that were surrounding you at that point in time. Think about the thought processes that you were having at that point in time, the influence of your surrounding, the belief system that you had, the life experiences that you were going through, as well as the life experiences that had already happened. When you keep all of that into consideration, you have to understand that you were just doing your best. And today, time has passed. You have evolved. Your thought processes may be different. Your belief system may be different. There are definitely more life experiences that you have been through to form the person that you are today, to form the version of yourself today. I want to ask you, do you think it is fair to compare the decisions that you would have made as this version of yourself to the decisions that you made as a past version of yourself? It's not fair. It's really, truly not fair. It's actually really sad and unfair to that version of yourself. Because here's the thing, and I equate this to a very common thought that's out there. You can't judge a fish for its ability to climb a tree, right? And well, when you think about it, you may laugh saying, well, no one judges a fish by its ability to climb a tree. But when you are comparing your past self with all of the things that they were equipped with or not equipped with at that point in time to a version of yourself today, the decision-making process, the life experiences that you have in the time that has passed, I really think that it is unfair to judge your past self based on what you think you would have done today. Because frankly, and let me be very, very honest with you, if you go back in time, all right? If you go back in time, you become exactly the same person that you were at that point in time, given the circumstances that were surrounding you, given all of the knowledge, experience, expertise, thought process, belief systems, etc. at that point in time. Let me tell you, you will make the same decision again. It's just how it is. If you go back in time to the exact same time and place and version of yourself, there is nothing you would do differently. You would take the exact same step. And that is why I do not have any regrets when I look back at my past self. I completely 100% understand that every single past version of myself has always done their best given the knowledge that they had at that point in time, the experience, the expertise, the thought process, the belief systems, the circumstances surrounding them, me, the past version of myself, basically, or the situation that I was in, the restrictions that I had, the influence of my surroundings, so on and so forth. I was always, and I have always been doing the best that I could at every given point, given the person that I was at that point. And you have to believe that about yourself as well. When you look back at your past, you have to understand that yes, today, given the person that you are, it's okay for you to wish that I could have done it differently. But frankly, let me tell you, let me be very, very honest with you. If you go back in time, there is nothing you would do differently. You would actually make the same decision again, because you have to go through that same very decision to get to the person that you are today. You get that? Yeah. So at this point, I'm just assuming that you are nodding, okay? Anyway, so yeah, that's just a little bit of me. Okay, anyway, so for me, this is why I have zero regrets, and 50 years down the line, I will have no regrets, because at every single point, I understand that I was doing the best that I could at that point in time. And you have to understand that about yourself as well. At every given point in your life, you have been doing what you perceive to be the best for you at that point in time. And that deserves love. That deserves so, so much love, okay? Your past self, different versions of your past self deserve so much love, because at every given point, they have done their best to protect you, what they thought was the best at the time. And I think that's commendable. I think that's absolutely commendable. I think it is something that deserves to be celebrated. It deserves to be looked at with love, with affection, with so much peace. Okay? So to reiterate, the reason why you have to look back at your past with love, with peace, is because at every single point, you have been doing your best. You have been doing what you perceived to be best for you at that point in time. It's very, very important. And there is no way that you could have ever done something to intentionally sabotage yourself. Absolutely not, right? And so I think, given what you were going through at that point in time, the person that you were, whatever circumstances were surrounding you, whatever influence, I think every single version of your past self deserves love that at every given point they were just doing their best. Okay? So that for me is how I look back at my past, and I only feel peace, I only feel love. There were tons of mistakes made. I'll probably cry. I wasn't expecting to cry, but I think it's just a very emotional thing that I have. Like, the relationship that I have today with my past self is just, it just fills my heart with so much love. I have so much love for every single past version of myself. It's not that there weren't any mistakes made, or it's not that the consequences were perfect and just like beautiful all the time. No, absolutely not. But I understand what I was going through at each of those points in time. And all I know is I just was doing my best, okay? And I think that deserves so much love. I think that deserves so, so much love. And I'll give you a few examples as well. So for me, the way that I perceived friendship before was not healthy. I will be very, very honest with you. I thought that, regardless of what the other person does to you, you have to be a good friend. I had trouble letting go of friendships when they were becoming toxic or unhealthy. And so if you look at my life, like if my life were playing out there like a movie, one recurring thing that you would see is me not being treated well, me finding myself in very, very toxic and unhealthy situations where I was mistreated. And another thing that you will see recurring is me going back to them and saying, you know what, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm going to continue being a good friend to you because that is what friendship means to me. And so if I were to go back in time, be that person that I was, with the thoughts that I was having, with the circumstances that were leading, and more importantly, the life experiences that I had been through up until that point to help me form that particular thought process, I'll still do the same. But today, it's a different thing. Today, I have let go of people who, created, or who I unfortunately created an unhealthy dynamic with, I guess I would say. Today, I have a very, very different perspective on friendship. Today, if something is just not aligned with me, I'm out. I let go at the first sign of misalignment. For me, there are no 100th chance or whatever. No, it's not even that. And for me, it's only about finding people who align with me. That's it. Finding people who I feel peace and joy and happiness with. I naturally feel that way rather than forcing myself. Today, it's a very, very different scenario because I've had enough life experiences in the time frame that has passed to change that thought process of mine. And that's just where I am at today. But I can't penalize my past self for whatever they did best for me at that point in time. And I can't penalize them for what I know today. I can't penalize my past self for the person that I am today. I can't penalize my past self for the thought processes that I'm having today, because without that decision, without that particular multiple decisions, I'm going to tell you very, very honestly, it was like I did it multiple times. Without me making that decision multiple times, there would be no lessons and I would not even be here today with the thought process that I have today. All right. So it was necessary for me to go through that particular decision and the consequences of that decision for me to get to where I am today. And that actually brings me to the, kind of flow into the next thought of the same section, where you have to respect the fact that every decision your past self has made has led you to where you are today. The thought processes that you are having today, the mindset that you are in today, whatever actions that you are taking today have been resulted directly, very, very directly by every single decision that you have made in the past. And I think that needs to be respected. I think that needs to be placed at a point where there is gratitude. I really think so. And if we go into the spiritual aspect of it, I'm not sure if you've heard of soul lessons. So there is this part of spirituality that I do believe in, and you can choose to believe it, you can choose not to. That's on to you, okay? Spirituality is each one do its own thing. You have your own belief systems. But I want to share this with you because that what has helped me. I don't know if that sentence formation was correct, but we'll just go along with it, okay? Because that has helped me make peace with every single decision I've made thus far. So the concept of soul lessons is, before your soul comes here, there are a list of lessons that it signs up for. So every single mistake, and I say mistake in quotes, every single stumble, every single circumstance that has led you to learn something is a soul lesson that you signed up for way before you came here. So basically you asked for it. You were like, okay, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with this, I'm okay with this, and then you go through that experience. And so for me, I have had so many lessons in my life, so many lessons in my life. And at one point in my life, oh my God, I'm getting so emotional for this episode. I never thought I would get so emotional for this episode. Anyway, there was a point in my life, this was 4 years ago, I was so in the dumps. I had absolutely no hope in life, It was zero. And I was in a very, very dark place 4 years ago, and one of the reasons why I was in a dark place was because it had been 10 years of just life lessons and very, very intense life lessons. So much so that, you know how people say spirit's broken? Like the spirit in you as broken, yeah, I was very close to that. I was very, very close to that. And to a point where my soul was tired. You can be physically tired, but for me, my soul was just tired of the lessons. And at that point, I started reading up about soul lessons and, you know, why is it that we go through what we go through, like the lessons after lessons after lessons, and turns out it's because you signed up for it. And that itself put me in such a positive mindset, because if I signed up for this before I came here, that's how much trust I had in myself to be able to learn those lessons, to be able to go through the experiences that brought me pain, hardship, to learn that particular lesson. And so if I had that much confidence in myself before I was even alive, then it means I've got it in me. And so, yeah, we'll probably talk about this in another podcast episode, but that's my perception of soul lessons, and that's why I feel strong enough to go through them. So I have no idea why we came onto this tangent, but for me, my point of this, I think, was soul lessons are something that you signed up for. Whatever lessons, whatever experiences that you've led up until now were part of whatever you signed up for. So again, you can't blame your past self because they were meant to make that decision at that point in time. You can't hold it against them because you signed up for it, okay? So that's the spiritual aspect of it. And then the other one was more grounded approach to this entire, but for me, both of them form a very, very strong foundation for me on how I perceive my past and the life that I've led up until now, because I have so much love. I just have so much love and peace for every version of my past self. Like, I could cry talking about it, because for me, one, I signed up for it, so I can't hold it against each of my past self. And number two, they were just doing their best at every given point. They were just doing their best, and I can never hold it against them. And I hope you feel that way about each of your past self version, because they deserve so much love from you. They deserve only and only love and peace and joy and gratitude for doing the best that they could given the circumstances that they were in and the limited resources that they had at that point in time. Because today you're a different person. Like, today you've got more resources, you've also got time, you've also got experience, so on and so forth. But at that point in time, like, the poor thing, like, they didn't have all of the stuff that you have right now. And yeah, you can't hold it against them. You can't, okay? So every single time you are thinking of your past and you find yourself about to say, I regret, no, don't. Stop yourself. Take a pause, okay? Ask yourself this question. If I were to go back in time, be that exact person in the circumstances that I was going through at that point in time, what decision would I make? And trust me, you are going to answer, I would have made the exact same decision. So can't hold it against yourself. Today you're a different person. Today is different, okay? Like I said, like, you don't judge a fish based on its ability to climb a tree. And it sounds silly when you hear people say it, but oftentimes we actually end up doing that to ourselves, and that's not fair. It's not fair to your past self. And I had one more line of thought, and then I forgot it, but I'll come back to it if I remember it. Anyway, I'm just looking down at my notes, and one thing that I have said over here is, today you feel differently, and you feel differently because of what that decision led to. But you had to go through it to realize it, and that was part of your life lesson, your means of growth, and your life path. It wouldn't be fair to hold it against your past self, and that's actually what I've written in my notes. So yeah, that's one part of this Podeo. Now we're going to get into the second part of the Podeo, and it's going to be the same continuation. It's just I gotta I'm running out of space on my camera, which happens usually every single time at the 25-minute mark. So give me a second. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so now we're back and we are going to get into the current aspect. So how to live a life with no regrets. It's present and future. So for me, the way that I look at this, okay, consciously or subconsciously, we are all doing our best, okay? At every given point, we are making what we perceive to be the best for us at this point in time. Whatever decisions I'm making today, I understand, given my knowledge, my experience, my expertise, the situation surrounding me, the influence surrounding me, all of that, my thoughts, my beliefs, so on and so forth, all of that collectively, I am making decisions that are best for me at this given point in time. Whether I'm making that decision consciously or subconsciously, it's what I perceive to be the best at this point in time. So for me, I think that provides a little bit of comfort that my future self will not hold it against me, all right? But I want to also offer one more way that I go about this, how to live a life with no regrets. For me, it's very, very simple. At every given point in my life, I just do what my heart wants. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, but your heart doesn't know. No, I don't believe any of that. I think life is not logic. I think life is heart. I think life is just about following your heart at every given instant. And the reason for that is I truly believe that if you want to lead a life that is aligned to who you are, that gives you peace, the decisions that you make have to be decisions that bring you peace, okay? And as an extension of that, the decisions that bring you peace are the ones that are what your heart wants, okay? So yes, I'm pretty sure that some of the decisions that I'm making today will lead to a lesson. I'm very sure of that. But like I told you, it goes back to the soul lesson thing where I signed up for it, so that's okay. But that does not mean I don't stay true to myself. That does not mean I don't follow my heart. That does not mean I don't make decisions that bring me peace today. Okay? So sometimes those stumbles are going to happen, but that does not mean I let go of my decision-making process, which is to follow my heart, to make decisions that bring me peace as of this moment in time. As of this moment in time, they bring me peace. In the future, maybe not. And that's okay. That's okay. Because at that moment in time, I will make another decision that brings me peace, and I'll keep shifting my path that way. Because life is not a straight line. Life is just, honestly, I don't know what life is. It's just curves and going backwards, forwards, and then sometimes it's like triangles and everything. It's just all shapes and sizes, right? So, and pivoting is probably the most important thing in life, I feel. So today, whatever brings me peace, that's what I do. I'm so sure of this. Like at every given point in my life, in the 31 years that have passed, I can very, very proudly tell you, again, getting so emotional, I can very proudly tell you, I've always listened to my heart. Always listened to my heart. And yes, that has led me into trouble sometimes. That has created problems for me at some point in time. But one thing that I'm very sure, oh my God, so emotional. One thing that I'm very sure is I will never stop listening to my heart, because at that point in time, those decisions brought me peace. It may not have brought me peace a little bit later on, but I pivoted, I learned the lesson that I had to, I grew from that, and then I just kept listening to my heart at every given point. And for me, I think that is the most important thing for me. I will always listen to my heart. 50 years down the line, you ask me, I will say, heart. Always my heart. Because to lead a life that is aligned to who you are, you have to make decisions that bring you peace at that point in time. And decisions that bring you peace are always decisions that you make with your heart. And if at some point in the future it does not bring me peace, I just make another decision. I learn the lesson that I have to, I grow from it, I make another decision, again from my heart, and I pivot. I keep pivoting, and that's how at every given point, my life, if you look back at the life that I've led up until now, it's kind of like, those graphs where everything's going haywire. But at every given point of that graph, okay, there's peace. There is just absolute peace at the moment of making that life decision. And of course, it goes down, it goes up sometimes, whatever it is, whatever happens after is part of my soul lesson, is part of my growth process, it's part of me evolving as a person, and that's okay. But at every given point, every decision that I've ever made and every decision that I will make in the future, every decision that I am making right now, I'm very sure it will be decisions, or it is decisions that bring me peace at that point in time. And so what I want you to take away from the second half of this podcast episode / YouTube video, in bracket, Podeo, I've got to get used to saying that, but I think I've done a pretty good job in this Podeo, right? Like I've actually said it a couple of times, I think. Let me know in the comments, okay? But yeah, in this Podeo, I don't know why I lost my train of thought. Like I really lost my train of thought. Okay, anyway, we'll get back to that if I get back to it. But so what I want you to take away from the second half of this Podeo is stay true to yourself. Whatever decisions that you are making from this moment on to the future, make sure that you're staying true to yourself. Always think, which is the best decision that is going to bring me peace at this moment in time, all right? And as much as possible, if you are truly afraid that you may have regrets in the future, another question that you can keep asking yourself every now and then is kind of extrapolate, okay? Kind of think, okay, well, a year down the line, when I look back, will I regret not taking this action? Will I regret taking this action? And that's also a great way for you to make a decision today so that you will not regret in the future as well. I found myself asking myself that sometimes, there have been a couple of instances, pretty much in the recent as well. Like I told you, I think in one of the previous Podios, that I had to make a pretty big decision for my life in May. And actually one of the crucial questions that I asked myself at that point was, well, 5 years down the line, am I going to regret this? And the answer was no, I'm not going to regret it because that decision brought me peace and so on and so forth. And then that's how I move forward with it. So you can extrapolate it a bit and think about, like, kind of envision the person that you are going to be 5 years from now, kind of envision the consequences that would occur from the decision that you're making today. And if you feel that the consequences are aligned with who you are today, as well as the person that you will evolve in the next time frame that you're thinking of, then I think that's also one more way that you can protect yourself as a layer. But the way that I see it, it's just about staying true to yourself today. And you honestly, your mind is your biggest protector. I say this all the time. Your mind is your biggest protector. Whether you intentionally involve in the decision-making process or not, subconsciously, you are constantly evaluating the options that you have. You are constantly checking out permutations and combinations. And at the end of the day, your mind is subconsciously making the best decision for you at that point in time, given the resources that they have access to, do not have access to, information that they have, do not have, thought process at the point, mind development at the point, experiences at that point, or situations surrounding you at that point, belief systems, so on and so forth. So if you want to be intentional about the decision that you're making, then yes, you could ask yourself these questions at pivotal moments, but understand that whether or not you involve intentionally in your decision-making process, you are doing your best. I don't know why I felt like saying that. Maybe there's someone out there who needs to hear it. You are doing your best, and at every given point in your life leading up to now, you have been doing the best that you could for yourself at that point in time. And that deserves so much love. It deserves only peace when you look back. Your past selves, each version of your past self deserves love. And I don't know if this might be a little bit more into spirituality, but I believe, okay? And you can feel free to take this on for yourself or not, but I believe that, I don't know how to explain this. I'm going to try my best, okay? Okay, I'm trying my best to explain it. So, every time I feel self-love today, I perceive that it is my future self showering me with love. Okay? I'm going to repeat that again. Every time I feel self-love, like this wave of self-love towards myself today, I perceive that it is my future self giving me that love when they are thinking of me. And I want my past self to feel that way. I know it's past and I'm pretty sure that at different points in my past life, past versions of myself, there have been moments that I've felt love. And today, I'm thinking of my past versions of myself and I have so much of love for them. I know they felt it at that point in time. I just know. And that itself makes me happy today, that even though there were some situations in my past where I felt alone, I think today I know that my present self, given how much love I have for them, today I know I wasn't actually alone. I had my then future self, which is my now present self, with them. And that makes me happy. That makes me so happy. This is becoming a very, very emotional episode for me. I was not expecting to get this emotional. Like, to be very honest with you, I didn't think I was going to get this emotional. But yeah, for me, showering my past self with love is me feeling good that my past self is not alone in what they went through. They had their future self, aka me, today. And I know that in moments today when I feel alone, I know I'm not alone because I have my future self showering me back with love. I trust her so much, and I know that she's going to be looking back at me with so much love, and I'm not alone in the life that I'm leading up until now. I haven't been alone in the life that I have led up until now. And I think that for me is a very, very, very beautiful thing, because there have been many, 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 many moments in my life where I felt completely alone. And to know that I had the love of my future self today, like knowing that I love my past self so much, it calms my present self, knowing that, okay, my past self actually did have a lot of love. It's just she didn't recognize it at the time, and it's okay. But today, I know that my future self is giving me all of that love. And even in moments I feel alone, I don't feel alone. I know my future self has got my back, or my future self is showering me with so much love. And I don't know, that itself is a very, 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 very beautiful feeling for me. And I hope I can share that thought process with you so that you can use it as a starting point for yourself. If you resonate with what I feel, then, or the life that I've led up until now, I think this would be a very helpful way for you to cope with what you've been through and what you will go through as well, right? Because life is life. All right, so that's what I want to say. I'm just looking down at my notes to see if we've covered everything. And yeah, a few things that I've written over here is, do what aligns with you in that moment of time. Do what your heart wants you to. Be true to yourself, your current self. And I've also written, life is not logic. Life is honestly just your heart. Okay? And I truly believe that. That is how I operate, to be very honest with you. And when I look back, I have no regrets. And I know in the future, when I look back, I will also have no regrets. And it's because of my perception. It is because my perception of looking back and regret it's protected me this far. So I hope that you can use it as a starting point for yours. And to be honest, every past decision that I have made in some shape or form has actually contributed to the person that I am today. And that only deserves my respect. It only deserves my gratitude. It only deserves my love. This is how I think of it. And I really hope that this entire Podeo has provided you an alternative perspective to looking back at your past and given you a good starting point to feel that love within you, to feel that peace within you when you look back at the life that you've led, because you deserve it. You really, really deserve to feel peace and love when you look back at the life that you have led. Okay? I truly want that for you. I really, really want that for you because I know how precious that feeling is. And I want that for you. All right? So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Oh, I gotta take a deep breath because I was not expecting this Podeo to be this emotional, to be very honest with you. And I gotta admit, I started recording this Podeo at 11 in the morning, and I have not had lunch. It is 4:03 right now as I'm recording this. I have not had lunch. My stomach has been growling. Sometimes I'm scared that it's probably going to be heard over the microphone. But I kept doing this. I think I must have re-recorded this at least 15 times. And I was just not happy with the direction of the Podeo. And this was the last time that I was recording this, and now I understand why. In all of the 14, I'm not kidding, I must have recorded it at least 15 times. In the previous, let's just assume 14, I didn't get into this aspect of it. I did not get into the emotional side of it, and now I know why I had to keep repeating it. And I didn't get upset or anything like that. It's just part of the process, right? And subconsciously, I just knew I was missing something, and that's why I was unable to. And I had gone on all up till like 15-20 minutes of recording and then stopped it. And then, yeah, I loved this episode. I really did. I think this is going to go into my books as one of my favorites. And I do have like another one that I did that was one of my favorites as well. This is a close, I think, on par with that. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Definitely do give me a thumbs up if you liked this video/podcast. Leave a review. Other than that, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and hit that notification bell because that tells you every single time I do upload a video or an episode. And other than that, I have 2 books out. I'm an author. 0 to 4 Figures is my first book. It is a business book on 61 stories and lessons related to digital entrepreneurship. It covers topics like self-love, relationships, positive mindset, growth mindset, success mindset, business strategy, marketing. So that's the first book. You can find it on Amazon, 0 to 4 Figures, Lessons Learned by a Broke CEO. The second one is Self-Loved. That is a self-help book. It is a compilation of 1,000 journal prompts for healing, growth, and self-discovery. It's covering topics like manifestation, inner child healing, trauma healing, daily gratitude, reflection, so on and so forth. So that's also available on Amazon. Other than that, I have a series of productivity planners. There are about 17 of them as of when this Podeo is releasing. It's called the Simple Series by the Marketing Nomad, and there are about 17 of them. The quickest way to find all of my books, all of them are available on Amazon, is to search my name. It's Prithvi space Madhukar. There's even an author page for me, and all of those books just show up. So if you're interested, otherwise you can visit my website. It's www.themarketingnomad.co, and that's just it. There's no I don't know why I felt like saying / Okay, anyway. And then if you want to chat with me, personally DM me and have a nice conversation with me, you can do that. My Instagram page is @themarketingnomad, but the quickest way to catch me is through the comment section because I get notified by YouTube, whereas on Instagram it's not really, it kind of goes into the request section and I don't know what happens, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, definitely do leave your thoughts, leave your comments. I'll be happy to get to them. If you have any questions about whatever we've spoken about, definitely do put them in the comment section. That's the quickest and fastest way to get to me. Other than that, yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty good about this episode. It was a good one. It was a really good one. I'm just doing a happy dance for those of you. For those of you on the podcast, yeah, I'm doing a happy dance. And those of you who caught it on YouTube, well, I hope you're doing a happy dance for me as well over there. And I hope that this provided a starting point for you to look back with peace and love. All right? That's pretty much it from me today. I'll catch you in my next Podeo. Bye-bye.